guys? Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Today is July 23rd. Happy Shark Week again, guys. Another win against the Tigers. We've won the series, guys. Are vibes actually high now? I may have wasted an opportunity yesterday to keep the vibes high when I essentially bailed out on it and said, this is where we are and yada, yada, yada. Shark Week's on in the background again. If you're watching via the video, you can see a little bit of the TV. You'll see some sharks. It's always fun. The Pirates knocked 14 hits. They slugged 8 doubles and drove in 8 runs along the way. Very importantly to say, this offense scored in 3 consecutive innings and 4 of 5 innings in a row when you have the 1 inning in between. So, all right, that's a good sign. They scored all their runs by the 6th. That's late enough to continue to put the pressure on. And the Tigers really didn't threaten after that. It was like they got the 3 runs. They made it a little bit closer. It's 5-3. You add the extra 3 in the 6th, and it makes a big difference. That's something that's been missing: slug and scoring in multiple innings. And they needed all of those runs, as the final ended up being 8-5. Spencer Horwitz has now had back-to-back 3-hit games, raising his on-base percentage from 297 to 318 in just 2 days. Now, 318 is not high enough, right? We talk about this all the time. It's a big jump. It's a good thing. When you're a struggling team and you want to undo a lot of things you've done, it's next to impossible at this point. So you just do your thing. You take it day by day, and then we take a step back and we say, hey, you know what? Since the All-Star break, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, his night last night included 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. I didn't say good morning.
Yeah, it is a good morning there, little man.
So you have to be listening to this in the morning because the Pirates have a day game today. So I'm just taking a chance that you're listening to me in the morning. Okay. O'Neal Cruz also had 2 doubles last night, going 2 for 4 with a walk. He also stole his 31st bag and stole a run in the 3rd inning with a very aggressive deke. You could call it heads up play. I call it deke because I wonder if Torkelson took a peek. Right? If Torkelson took a peek. Now here, let's set the tone here in case you didn't see the play. Let's set it up for you. Hayes hits a high chopper to third base. McKinstry fields it, throws. I think they called the error on McKinstry. Although when you watch the play, you wonder if it didn't hit the ground, if it just hit Torkelson's glove. He was reaching for it, so I guess it's an either way kind of thing. I would have probably put that on the first baseman, though, if it was my opinion. I think that getting a high chopper like that and throwing it across the infield, if you can get it there in the air, I think I'm more apt to say, no, I'm gonna put that on the first baseman there. He's got to be able to catch that ball. I wish just scoop plays would still be. I mean, like a professional first baseman ought to be able to pick it. I don't know. Sometimes the short hops or the long hops, it just depends on the difficulty. But if it's just a scoop and it's not actually playing you, I think that should be expected. But either way, this one didn't hit the ground. So Cruz was on second base, and once the ball kicked away from Torkelson, he's going to advance to third. Now, typically when you watch this play, you're going to see the ball kick away, and you're going to cruise into third base. That's all you're going to get anyway, but you probably got it pretty easy. You're not going to have to book it to third. The guy's not getting you out. So most guys will kind of put it in cruise control and go to third base, and that's the end of it. And that's what Cruz was doing. And they showed a replay of it, and he's running to third, and you see him looking at the play, and he doesn't take his eyes off the play. He continues to go into third base at like a 3/4 or 60% run, which is, like I said, this is what you expect of the play. And as he's kind of getting to third, he's kind of slowing down and not taking his eye off of the play. He rounds third a little bit, takes a couple steps, and then takes off. So to backtrack a little bit, while he was strolling to third, that look, when they showed the replay, you could see that Torkelson was not really going hard for the ball. He was kind of jogging. Now, I will defend Torkelson for just a second because you should go hard after the ball. But because of what I said about the guy going to third, you typically just, hey, let's just get to the ball. I don't have to sprint and go into a slide and pop up ready to throw. But I can just get to this ball, and he's going to take third. We got runners on corners. This stinks. But when he gets to the ball, and this is when I say deke move, because I wonder if Torkelson looked over and just saw Cruz kind of rounding the base, just effortless, right? Just not running hard. Because he was there. He got to third base. I'm not going to throw him out at third now. He put the brakes on and got to third base. And so Torkelson then turns and like slowly bends over to pick up the ball. And when I say slowly bends over to pick up the ball, I'm beyond 40. When I first get to the softball field and we're warming up and one drops, it was that slow. The way I bend over before I've stretched and warmed up, and I just kind of bend over, pick up the ball, stand back up. That's what he looked like. I'm comparing him to that. So when he slowly bends over to pick up the ball, he takes his eye off Cruz. Cruz takes off. He comes up and then has to like pump and throw home. And he saw him run. He threw it, and Cruz's speed down the line was just enough. It was a close play because that scoring on that play is extremely difficult. Like, I can't stress this enough. Like, Torkelson's bent over like that, not thinking ever that somebody would run. Sometimes you even wonder if he did that to try to egg him on to run. It was close. He should not have been able to score on that. But that aggressiveness and the closing speed of Cruz got him there just in time. Man, how exciting, right? This is the type of play that we see in the potential of Cruz and what he can do. And when you're up 3 runs, you can take risks like that. A huge play by Cruz, and something you love to see from a guy who's gotten the criticism that he has in effort at times, and this one was a big deal. Got him an extra run there in the third. That was the only run they'd score in the third, 2 in the second, so it's now a 3. I guess I said it was a 3-0 game, but he made it a 3-0 game. But it's early in the game. So they end up tacking on 2 more, 3 more in the 6th. Right, the whole thing's written. But that was a big momentum piece right there. Taking that run, it was I think a critical move in a sense. I think you know where I'm going with that. Pretty cool stuff from O'Neal Cruz. Tommy Pham also had 3 hits in this game, 2 doubles as well. He's now hitting .340 in his last 15 games with a .377 on base, guys. I think he just might be able to be moved to a team this deadline. I think someone might look at what he's doing and let's say the contacts are the things that made the difference. Maybe there's enough there that somebody says, yeah, we need a bench bat. This guy can now see. And like I said, he's always going to come with a little bit of, for whatever reason, that leadership tag, because he's a veteran. So I don't know. Move him. He's worth it now. Brian Reynolds also had 3 hits in the contest, including a double and 2 RBIs. Big there. I mean, I know that we've been really pushing on the Brian Reynolds thing. Really need this guy to come through. 3 hits in this one. Again, including a 2 RBI double, which was huge. No one, this is hard to say, no one in this lineup struck out more than once. Well, except for Canario, who was 0 for 4 with the golden sombrero, 4 strikeouts. But the rest of that is true. Nobody else struck out more than once. Listen, I'll take that. It's not a good day for Canario, but for everybody else, that's not bad. They drew 4 walks in this game too. So I don't know. It's just a stat. That's what happened. Offense shows up with 8 runs, and in a day where the pitching staff gives up 5 runs, that's exactly what you need, right? That's the days that the offense has to pick it up and get it done. So kudos to the offense for today. That's a series win. Mitch Keller gets another quality start. That's 15 for Mitch this year. And the speculation will now go, is this the last start for Mitch Keller and the Pirates, or as a Pirate rather? Is that it? Is that what it's going to be? 6 innings, 3 runs. What was the actual line here? 6 hits. He did walk 3, struck out 5, but a quality start nonetheless. He ends up getting the individual win and the team win, which is more important. So 15 quality starts this season. In 2023, Mitch had a career high 18 quality starts. Last year, he had 15 for the whole season. So he's looking at surpassing both. I mean, obviously, the last year's number, he's already there. So he could just one more and he's past it. But also to set that career high 18 quality starts that he had in 2023. Only once in Mitch's career has he had a lower strikeouts per 9. So that's what makes it a little bit interesting. I said he had 5 strikeouts today. He's got 6.98 strikeouts per 9. The only year that was lower, I think, was the 2020 season, which is the 5 starts season. So whatever. And it was a fantastic year for him. And then the strikeouts kind of went back up. Well, now maybe this is the recipe for Mitch to kind of lower that. The important thing is even with the 3 walks today, he's never had this low of a walks per 9. 2.16 walks per 9 innings. He's never had a lower homers per 9. 0.72. And he's never had a lower whip. Right now it is 1.16. So Mitch Keller's really putting it all together right now. And it's great to see. So obviously that 2020 season, the ERA was a little bit lower than the 3.53 that it is right now. But that's, like I said, he had 5 starts that season and he had a 2.91 ERA. Other than that, he's not had a lower ERA either, which it's not a complete season though. So instead of talking complete seasons and saying where his ERA is now compared to the rest of the seasons, I decided to look back and say, let's take a look at the starts of his seasons. He only made 11 starts his rookie season, and then he only made 5 in 2020. His rookie season, he had a 7.13 ERA, and I don't think we have to go over the rest of the numbers. And in those 5 starts, 21 innings in 2020, he had a 2.91. So from that point on, 2021 through, let's take a look at what he's done in his first 21 starts of the season, with a caveat that I did 21 games, and in 2022, early on, he pitched out of the bullpen a couple times. So there's 19 starts in that one, but it's the games, right? So 2022 is the caveat there. But 2021, 93 2/3 innings. He had a 5.96 ERA. In 2022, it was 107 innings. Now, that was the year that there was a couple in there, but still, he went up in innings in his first 21 games and lowered the ERA to a 4.21. Both those years was 10 home runs, 87 and 88 strikeouts. So right there, kind of in that same thing. The only problem is that 2022 was more innings and only 1 more strikeout, the same amount of home runs. So there's the good and the bad, but you lower those strikeouts, and there you go. 2023, he moved up to 128 innings pitched and had a 4.01 ERA. So again, lowered it 20 points. Obviously 21 to 22, huge difference. But lowered it another 20 points. And he moved the strikeouts up to 137. Now, there are a lot more innings here, but 137 strikeouts. In 22, he had more innings than he had strikeouts. In 23, he had 137 strikeouts in 128 innings. Crazy. He did give up 6 more home runs, though, but also in 20 more innings. In 2024, 128 and a third innings pitched, all the way down last year in his first 21 starts to a 3.30 ERA, 114 strikeouts, so starting to lower those strikeouts, and then only 13 home runs as compared to 16 the year before in essentially the same amount of innings. So he lowered his strikeout totals and got better results. That's a 3.30 ERA last year through his first 21 starts. This year, 125 innings pitched, so 3 1/3 less than last year, and a 3.53 ERA. Better start to last year, right? When you talk about the first 21 starts, which is a large bulk of the season, right? I mean, last year he made 31 starts. His career high is 32 in 23, so you get the idea. 97 strikeouts this year in those 125 innings. So he continues to lower those strikeout numbers. As I said before, it's the lowest it's been. I'm going to take a drink right here. He finished 2024, remember, 3.30 ERA. He finished 2024 with a 4.25 in 31 games. His final 10 starts, 49 2/3 innings with a 6.70 ERA. 10 home runs, which almost matched his 13 in his first 21. And just 52 strikeouts, which was still, actually, the strikeouts went up a little bit because they were a little bit higher than the innings pitched. Okay, so what's in store for Mitch Keller the rest of the season? Are we looking at maybe another drop-off? Is it, hey, he's growing up, it's going to take that? I mean, that's the way to project. You would think that it would get better. But you just don't know. As good as his 3.54 career ERA is in the month of July, August is a 5.75 ERA, and September's a 4.30. August is the toughest month on the baseball calendar. It always has been, the dog days of summer. And I don't think it's any different for pitchers. You just don't know if this is a Mitch Keller thing or if this is just part of the maturing and that he's going to be just as good down the stretch or maybe even better. That'd be crazy. So if we're diving into whether or not Mitch is just improving altogether, I mean, that's a lot of reasons why I wanted to look at those first 21 starts, because he's typically struggled after that. I'd like to believe he's on that path to just continue to be better. I feel like he knows himself a little bit more. This always comes with the territory to get better. So it's not crazy to believe that. But obviously, he's a big trade chip if that's what you see him as, if that's what you consider him as. And for a lot of guys, maybe a non-trade piece. It's good to look into this stuff. He's owed just under $17 million next year. What he's doing right now is very good in that situation. If I look at his baseball reference page right now, he was already at 2 WAR going into this game. So that doesn't include this game. I talk about it all the time. On the free agent market, 2 WAR is $8 million. That's $16 million, right? That's $16 million that he's already worth before he even started this game on Tuesday night. He's making 15.4. He's absolutely worth his money right now. If that continues to climb a little bit and you look forward to next year, it's pretty reasonable to think that you're going to get value out of that $17 million in 2026. In 27, it goes up to $18.4 million. and in 2028 it is $20.4 million. Those are the 3 seasons left after this year. 3 seasons of control. The highest he gets is $20.4 million. So there's clear value of control, and getting a pitcher of his caliber to be around 20 million is probably pretty fair. So what about now? If you're thinking that your plan is going into 2026 without Keller, and I say that to say we're at the deadline, you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm going to be picky. I can always trade this guy in the offseason. If you're planning on trading him in the offseason and your plan is to say, I'm not going into 2026 with Mitch Keller on my team, and that $17 million that he's owed next year is part of your motivation to do that, that's fine. That's fine if that's what you want to do. There's a chance that you'll get more return right now than you will in the offseason. Let's talk about that chance, because there is a difference in what you probably could get back if you were to do this. And this is, I'm not the best trade analyst. I'm not the best of all this stuff, but it's worth talking about. Right now, you should be able to get the best overall package of prospects. A team that needs someone like this down the stretch will tend to give away more to include the postseason chase in the deal. However, you're a lot less likely to get a player who will have an immediate impact, maybe even less likely to land someone who will impact your team in 2026. And it's important to understand that somebody who's not helpful in 25 but is in 26 also means they probably don't have MLB experience, which means you're also going to have to go through growing pains. A popular example of someone that you might want back, Boston. See a lot of people talk about Boston. Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran, Cedar Rafaela would be a guy I would really like. I think that ship has sailed. He's done far too good this year. That would have been a guy that maybe would have been great in the offseason. However, those things are more doable in the offseason because they can say, we've got Duran, we've got Abreu, we've got Rafaela, we've got Roman Anthony, we've got there's a couple others there that I seem to always forget about when I'm thinking about the Red Sox. But they had depth, and they could have traded from that depth because of the guys coming up. Now that you're in season, I mean, they're trying to get a wild card spot. They're trying to get into the postseason. I think it would be a lot harder to get rid of one of those pieces that you know are going to be really good, because if somebody goes down and you're making that push, you're gonna need that. But if you make that kind of a deal in the offseason, they have the opportunity to get somebody else to fill in for any hole that they've created, even if it's just a backup. But it would make a lot more sense to do something like that in the offseason. I got a position of strength. You have a position of strength that would make a good deal. It's just an example. I'm not saying that's the guys you have to go after or target or anything like that, but it's just an example of what it is. If you think that trading Mitch Keller and then getting 3-4 prospects out of it is the deal that you want to make right now, then have at it. If you want to take a big risk on the fact that he's going to finish this season strong, something he hasn't done much of, then that's a risk. I don't know. It's really a catch-22, or maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 one, half dozen of the other, depending on which analogy you want to go with. I've seen opinions saying don't trade him, keep what's good. I've seen opinions saying it's the only way to truly make this team better. He's the one with the highest value. You have to move him. Both of them make a lot of sense, but what comes next is just how much trust you have in Ben Cherington to be the one to get the job done. And it's yet to be seen. It's going to be really interesting to follow along with this. Let me know in the comments on the YouTube page if you want Keller to stay a Bucko or if you want him traded. And if it's the latter, what are you looking for? You don't have to give me names, but just like types. And then if you're a deadline or an off-season type guy or whatever. The last note I'll say, Caleb Ferguson gave up 2 more runs, and just like that, It's a 3.92 ERA. Trade. And now lowering that value. But I'm allowing myself to catch the good vibes today, all right? This is a series win already with a chance to sweep the Tigers, something I thought could be the opposite. Day game today, watch while you work. 12:35 game, Bailey Falter versus Troy Melton, who will be making his major league debut. Exciting day for Melton. But it'd be nice to spoil it, right? It's Wednesday, guys. Have a great day and enjoy watching some Shark Week tonight. Since you're going to be watching baseball today, watch something on Shark Week. You might as well. Have a great day, guys. Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Subscribing to your platform of choice is the best way to be notified for new episodes. And now, new episodes every weekday. Remember, live shows with my dad and Uncle Jake are Sundays at 9 p.m. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and join them in the live chat every Sunday. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.